can feel it down in my plums. When I hear a sound, a rap at the door, my young son Gabriel walks in.
Oh boy.
Oh, sorry. Wait. Hold on.
No, that's fine. It's fine. Hey, welcome back to Let the Boys Watch, an entertainment podcast brought to you by Going Great Productions. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Robbie, and today we're going to be talking about Game of Thrones prequel, House of the Dragons, Episode 2, Regent. House of the Dragon stars Matt Smith, Emma Darcy, Olivia Cooke, Rhys Ifans, Eve Best No More, Steve Toussaint, Matthew Needham, Ewan Mitchell, and Tom Glynn-Carney. Did I say I'm one of your hosts' name is Robbie? If I did, my name is Robbie. Alongside me is the cousin Ben. How we doing?
Good. It's good to see you too, but I got one question for the both of you. Where the hell is Otto? I need my Otto.
Needham.
Otto's gone. Hopefully next week. And alongside the cousin, good friend, and one of our co-hosts, Ryan. How we doing?
I don't have a question for you guys, but I have something I'd like to say to Daemon. Say hi to your mother for me. Yeah, like Robbie said, this is Let the Boys Watch, and we are watching and recapping House of the Dragon Season 2. This is for Episode 5, like Robbie said, the Regent. This will not have any book spoilers, so if you are not a book reader, please do not run away scared. We are not going to go into any of that stuff. So it's show only up through, Season 1 through now. We've read the Game of Thrones books, so maybe something from there might slip in, but no fire and blood spoilers. If you want to get involved in the conversation, please send us an email, ltbwpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram. Both of those are in the show notes. And Benny, tell them where else we can get involved.
Please subscribe to us on YouTube. Let the Boys Watch. We got a couple exclusive videos on there for you. So if you're listening, please head over to YouTube and follow us there as well. We're talking about the boys. We're talking about the bear. We're talking about House of the Dragon, obviously, but we would love to see you over on YouTube. The numbers are getting pretty nice over there on YouTube. Not gonna lie,
Not
to
bad.
like 80. Yeah, not up to like 80 something subscribers. So go ahead and join us over there. It'll be fun. I mean, anytime you could spend an hour or a half an hour looking at Robbie's beautiful face. I mean, what better use of your time could you possibly have?
Forget about it.
Robbie,
Please,
yeah, and if you're not watching this, you could see Robbie has a bandage over his ear in tribute to his favorite guy.
And to the Prez, here's my bandage. You can see. Shout out the Prez, former Prez. We're thinking of you. Blessings. Love your ear patch. Oh, God, what a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive. So what we do with the show, if this is your first time here, is we're going to do, overall impressions and scores of this episode. Then we're going to do 7 questions for the 7 kingdoms. And then we'll do who sits the Iron Throne. So who is our favorite character this episode. So again, if you want to, comment on what we say on the show or have a question that you want us to, talk about, I would say not intelligently, but we'll talk about it nonetheless ad nauseum until we can't talk anymore. Please send us an email, get involved, put a comment on Instagram, whatever.
Yeah,
So,
these are the opinions of the small folk, not the
oh yeah,
the lords.
yeah,
we
we're
got
more
small folk opinions.
Yeah. If it wasn't apparent already, this is not the show for hard-hitting, deep analysis. This is just 3 guys just shooting the shit about a show that we like. So overall impressions, does anyone want to go first?
I'll go first.
Please.
Obviously a chess piece moving episode's kind of what I expected after, the high of last week, but I thought this was an aggressive chess piece moving episode. I thought there was a lot there for us. Aemond really sinking his teeth in on this episode. He makes you really wonder what the hell he's got in store for us the next couple weeks. I think Daemon's story finally picking up a little bit of steam. Very much concerned about what his ideas are. Is he going to try to take the crown from Rhaenyra somehow? I don't think it's going to be a bloody type of takeover if he tries, but he definitely has his eyes on the prize there. And I liked how they left the episode off with what the Blacks plan what the Blacks plan could possibly be going forward. There's a lot of dragon seeds out there. There's a couple dragons that are unclaimed. There are some under under Dragonstone. So interesting. A lot of setup, a lot of things that I think are going to be paid off in the next couple of weeks here to end out the season. So a little slow, but I enjoyed it. It's what I expected coming off of last week. I didn't think they were going to go balls to the wall for 5 straight episodes or 4 straight episodes. So yeah, excited to see what's next.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you, and I also disagree with you. Like, I knew this was going to be this type of episode. I was hoping that maybe they would surprise us and give us some action, or something crazy or whatever. But it was, like you said, setting the table episode, reset the pieces. And I liked it because I like this universe. I like this story. I like whatever. But I some of the parts of this episode, like I'll get into it later with Daemon. Like, some of these things have to move forward. Like, I'm tired of some of this stuff being stagnant. So I feel like this was another episode. While again, I enjoyed it because it could just be, to borrow a line from a movie I like, Daemon farting on a snare drum. I'd still enjoy it. But I need something. I need something happening here. So, Robbie, what do you think about this episode?
To no surprise, I hated it. It was it was very slow moving for me. I understand the chess pieces. Maybe I'm a little ignorant to but I thought the pacing was slow. I didn't see, or maybe not see, but maybe I'm not paying attention. But I'm getting introduced to people I don't even know. I'm too lazy to find out in some of these episodes. I guess I need to pay attention more. But again, I feel like I'm getting introduced to people that I don't know, and why should I care about them? Maybe that's on me. Hand up, man up, I guess. But I don't know. I expected it, obviously, from such a fantastic episode last week with a lot of things that happen, and I understand there's some moving pieces and some chess pieces going on. But yeah, I feel like we're now in episode 6. Like, when are we going to get the ball rolling? Again, I don't really care too much for Damon's story right now. It's kind of boring me, and it's kind of annoying me. Like Ryan, I agree with you. It's like, let's get this ball rolling. I get it. He's having, he wants the power. I don't know how he's going to do it. He's got mommy issues. He might be drugged. He might be losing his mind. I understand it. I get it. He's fantastic with the axe. He's building stuff. Love it. Good for him. What a craftsman. Love it. If this was Bob Vila, I would like it, but I need some things. I feel like
This old
the season's
castle
been,
with Daemon
yeah,
Targaryen.
exactly. This whole cast, and I would love it. But I feel like it's just very slow moving. I feel like there's a lot of episodes so that have been slow moving. Like, again, I don't understand some of these characters. I think they just glossed over Rhaenyra's death, Rhaenyra's death, whatever her name is. I didn't like that. I wish I could have got some more of that, some more mourning, something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was a tough one for me. I think this was the toughest episode to get through for me. I did find myself bored, annoyed, and waiting for the episode to be over. So again, set piece is beautiful, acting beautiful, but I need some more. I'm invested, but I'm not invested in the characters. If that makes sense. So give me something. Give me some juice, as the kids say.
I feel like I get why you could feel like that, but I'm finally glad we're starting to get like some Corliss sprinkled in here. I thought his acting in this episode was fantastic. I thought he was insanely good in this episode, and I love um is it Bela, the older daughter? I
Yes,
loved the scene
Bela.
between the two, between Bela and Corliss, him saying, being so inspired by what she said, like, I'm naming you my heir, and she's just like, nah, you can't do that, and I'm not accepting it. And then the scene with Corliss going back to the throne into, they mentioned it in like the after the episode, back to this throne in this castle. And, the reaction he has where like none of this matters anymore because he's lost so many people at this point. And the only shot at redemption he has is to be the hand now. And he sees that. And I don't know. I just thought we've been calling for more Corliss this whole season so far. So to get like such a great scene from him and the promise of him being more involved going forward, I love that. And yeah, I kind of went into this episode expecting what we got, and I thought there was a lot of more deeper chess piece moving and a lot more explanation behind a lot of the stuff than we got in those back-to-back episodes where we were kind of like, all right, it's good, but this is a lot of chess piece moving for 2 straight weeks. Whereas I'm expecting it, my thoughts might change next week if we get another slower episode next week, but for me, I'm expecting this to get hot quick to end the season.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, listen, I get it. Like, it can't be nonstop action. Like, it just can't. Like, at this point, the simple fact that there's only so many characters. So I'm not saying that everyone needs to die, but like something more like looking back to Game of Thrones, and maybe because I'm looking at the whole thing where I don't remember, like, yeah, there's some slow episodes because they were, table setting and whatever. But
There was
yeah,
a
I
lot
don't know.
of traveling in Game of Thrones. There was a
Right.
lot of
And
we're on the road again
I guess
type stuff.
maybe that's like, but maybe I like that because I felt like they were both figuratively and literally moving forward, like moving towards something. Whereas
Yeah.
this a lot of times feels like everyone's just sitting around their castle or sitting around Harrenhal or sitting around King's Landing. And it's like, and there's definitely scenes I liked, and there was things I liked about this episode overall. But I just feel like there's a couple storylines that I'm just like, all fucking right, let's go. Like, let's go. Do something different. I don't know. Whatever. I still like it. I still did tons of research online and listened to several podcasts already this week, but I just, yeah, I need something more. And if it matters, this is the lowest rated episode this season on IMDb.
Really?
Yeah. By a tenth, but it technically is the lowest
Still
rated.
counts.
Still counts.
You know what? I did a little bit of deep dive into the season so far the last couple of days, and there were some things that got pointed out to me that I didn't necessarily see. One of them, and I think maybe that's why I kind of warmed up to the Daemon stuff a little bit. Like, there's a lot of stuff there in Harrenhal, and again, is that really on the viewer to like know all of that stuff? No, not really. Like, that's good storytelling is getting everybody involved with that kind of stuff. But like, there's the whole history of Harrenhal is they cut down a weirwood forest
Yep.
to build that castle, and that's like one of the biggest sins that you could possibly do. And the day that they finished Harrenhal is the day that Aegon the Conqueror came to Westeros and pretty much melted the castle. And there were a couple scenes in this season where you see kind of the roots of weirwood trees growing in Harrenhal, like it's taking over the castle again. And there's some stuff in the early books, not the books, that we're going off of now, so I won't spoil any of that. But anytime someone's around weirwoods, they kind of have these visions or dreams and stuff like that. I think Jaime falls asleep with his head on the stump of a weirwood tree and has like this vision. And one of the things that we see, Daemon is probably sleeping in a bed made of weirwood wood, or sort of just weirwood. But and that's probably contributing to why he's having these dreams at night. So if you really dive in, and again, I don't fault people for not spending 3-4 hours of their life watching videos to break down the little things that are in the episode, but it just gave me a little bit more appreciation, I think, for some of the Harrenhal stuff.
Yeah. I don't disagree. And I know that there's plenty of lore and backstory to a lot of things in this. And that's one of the reasons why I'm almost like, should I read the book? Should I read Fire and Blood? And will I gain a different or better appreciation for this, or will I hate it more? Like, I don't know. So
To me, and maybe Robbie, you can give your opinion on like how this kind of stuff makes you feel as someone that hasn't read the books, but I feel like there's obviously going to be some stuff in there for the people that read Fire and Blood, but it's a lot of stuff from I think the main series that they're kind of like not retconning, but like giving you that. Like if you read those books, like it's like, oh, this is that person, and this is referencing that from the main series, like Daenerys' eggs and things like that. And I think a lot of the stuff that I noticed, or at least the stuff that I picked up the most, is the stuff referencing back to, the main series.
right. Yeah, just the history and lore of this universe or whatever. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Sorry. Yeah, Robbie, like what's your kind of thoughts on like what Benny's saying, like as someone who didn't read any of the books, like does that
Do you care?
care? Yeah, do you care? Or as a show watcher, you just kind of like, well, I don't know these things. Like what the fuck am I supposed to do?
Okay, well, check my name tag this week, and I'll give you the answer. But no, I mean that's cool to know. But again, I don't know that. So, like, if Benny knows that, there's some not nostalgia, but there's some backstory to it. Like, all right, I kind of get it. Like, kind of get why Harrenhal's, they're focusing so much on it. What's the importance of it? I had no idea that they chopped down all these trees to build this castle, and all the things that happened potentially uh because of them cutting down the trees, and these visions and dreams and nightmares these people are getting, and the bad luck associated with the castle. I don't know any of that. So again, like for me to come into it and not know that, yeah, I mean, it would be cool if I knew that beforehand and be like, all right, now I understand all this. But like for somebody that's not reading the books, if you're going to focus so much on something, I don't want to say cater to a book reader, but at least, you're catering to people who know the story. But if you want viewers or you want people to stick around, I think maybe quickly give a backstory on it. Maybe they did, maybe they don't, but just have everybody informed. If they're just doing it to suffice the book readers, that's great. But for a general viewer like myself, it's like, all right, I kind of get there's some spooky stuff going around. When's he gonna die?
Yeah. But I think too, and that's why, it's such a like played out thing to say, or you've heard it so many times, like, the book was better. I saw the movie, the book was better. But this is why they change things like that, right? Is because you can't be so faithful to the books as it's going to be a 4-hour movie, for Harry Potter or whatever. And B, there's, you can't necessarily give a ton of fan service to the books because you're risking someone having an opinion like Robbie. And I think that that's where I think some of the disconnect is. They're trying to have it both ways. They're trying to like sprinkle in the book details for the people, and it's a lot, but it's also at the sacrifice of people that are just casually tuning in just to watch the show and to be entertained by the show. Like Robbie's right. Like there should be maybe a little bit more, find a way to kind of give a quick explanation here and there to some of that stuff.
Right.
I think also, like, I just don't like, I don't know if I'm comparing the two shows, but I didn't read the books. You know, I said I did. I didn't. I lied. Again, hand up, man up. But but I was so, you know, intrigued by those characters. Um, I had so much, I don't know what the word I'm trying to say, but like I cared for those characters, even though I didn't read the books. So like those characters, I latched onto a lot of those characters. I don't know why. Like I'm not latching on to these characters, and I don't know why. Is it maybe because I already watched Game of Thrones, and those characters are always going to be far and away better, or I cared so much about them instead of these characters? I don't know. I don't know what it is, and I'm struggling to find out why. But there's people in Game of Thrones when I was watching the season, I'm like, I'd be devastated if this person died, or, if I don't see this person for a long time, I'd be upset. Like I was yearning for Jock and Agar for like seasons, and I only saw him a couple of times, and his character fascinated me. Nobody's fascinating me on this show, and I don't know why. I don't know. I'm struggling to, again, like I said, struggling to find out why.
I think too, like there's so much from the main series. Like it's the whole book and multiple books and books and books of all this stuff. So you can kind of pull out all these like fun little things. Whereas this is like a section of a book. Like this
Couple
whole
chapters,
series,
yeah.
yeah, is like a section of the Targaryen history. Like the book that this show is based off of, we're not getting all of that stuff. It is literally like Targaryen history from, I don't know if it's before they get to Westeros or when they get to Westeros to like, I think the Mad King. And it's just all the stuff that happened to the Targaryens. And this is only like a little bit of it. So that could be part of it too. Whereas there's so much stuff to pull from the main series as opposed to this, where it's only a couple chapters of stuff.
Yeah, it starts with Aegon the Conqueror.
Maybe it was just like we said, maybe it was just easier to go from place to place, where here there's not, you're not focusing on the Stark family, maybe bits and pieces of it, but you're not spending episodes with them, or here it's just, a little piece here, a little piece there. You see the wall for like what, 3 minutes, and you never see it again. Maybe you'll see it, but you haven't seen it. But each episode, you could spend it with various households and various characters, where here you're just kind of getting those households you saw and those names you saw, but for a couple of minutes, and then it's gone. And then it's back to Daemon, banging his mom and drinking fruit punch. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's irking a boy.
No, I agree. I also feel like I'm lacking some characters to really like latch onto. Now, I mean, there's definitely some that intrigue me, and some that I like, but yeah, it's definitely not the same as what it was with the early go of Thrones, the early seasons of Thrones. All right, let's do some scores, and then we'll get to our 7 questions. Does anyone want to score first?
I'll lead us off again.
ahead.
Probably because I'm gonna have the high score here, I think, but I'm gonna go 8.3. Solid episode for me. Not the best of the season, obviously, but I appreciated what they did with it, and I thought there were some great performances there.
Fair.
Since it's baseball season and we're at the All-Star break, I'll go with a Roger Maris-esque 6.1. I didn't like it. I wasn't intrigued. I appreciate the chess pieces. I did not like the pacing. I was bored in some spots. When I get bored, I get cranky. And when I get cranky, you don't want to know.
Watch out.
People get hurt. I think I'm gonna go actually just slightly above 2 weeks ago, which I think was probably our least favorite so far, because again, there was parts I was kind of like, all right, let's go. But there were parts that I did like, that we'll talk about. So I'm gonna go 7.4 for this one. Liked it, didn't love it, and hoping for some more. And just real quick, like this episode, maybe some of those other episodes, like 3 and 4 or whatever. Oh wait, 2 and 3. I might change my tune like about some of them based on how this season goes. Like even, the stuff that's irking me the most, the Daemon stuff, which I'm intrigued by, but I'm also hating. Again, depending on how it ends up, I might be like, I'm stupid. That was awesome. I don't know. Probably not, but we'll see.
I think for me too, I mean, this is my last kind of point on the episode as a whole. There was the episode before the Red Dragon and the Gold. I had mentioned again the episode before that how it was slow, but then we had the Eric and Eric fight, and I was like, boom, that's how you end an episode. Whereas the next episode, we got the scene between Rhaenyra and Allison, but it was still kind of like, all right, cool to see them back together. What I liked about this episode was it didn't have that high note of Eric and Eric, but I like the thought it put in my head with who are they going to go after to ride these dragons, and how is that all going to play out? That made me look forward to next week.
There. And some major things happened to this episode, so let's talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Get my notes out. So
Love
7
it.
questions for the
Official.
7 kingdoms. They are mostly in chronological order of the episode, but some things I kind of combine stuff. But I don't know, let's just get going. So honestly, one of the first scenes in the episode I thought was very interesting, and we'll lead into some other things we'll discuss later. But when Cole and Gwaine, that dope, and the rest of the soldiers were parading around this huge dinosaur head, and expecting everyone to be like, "Oh my God, look at this! This is awesome! Go Aegon!" They were not. So when you saw that, and I don't know if you look, I had again team subtitles. Always had the subtitles on. I saw what they were saying. Were you surprised at the small folks' reaction when they paraded in this dragon head, Benny?
Yes and no. I mean,
Okay.
you kind of expect, like, you're seeing something like that, and for the people to be wowed and like, wow, look at the power that they had. But as they kind of explained how people view dragons, like, it makes total sense. Like, they see them as these almost like godlike beings, and the fact that they're just butchered like you'd butcher, a cow or anybody else, it kind of like, it's off-putting. It was off-putting to all these people, and I forget who it was, but I think it was after the episode as well. They kind of brought up the fact of there were all these years of peace between Jaehaerys and Viserys. Did I say which one? Viserys. And now there's a lot of turbulence going on, and who's on the Iron Throne? In their eyes, it's Aegon. So between the dragon thing and all this stuff that's going on, I think there's a lot of unrest and kind of weariness in all the small folk. And I thought that was another cool thing about this episode too, is that there's a lot of small folk stuff that we see kind of brewing right now.
All right. Robbie, any thoughts on the big dragon head?
Yeah, that was cool. I guess I just didn't I didn't understand why they were not intrigued. I guess you would have expected everybody to give standing ovations, maybe a couple waves, everybody freaking out, loving it. But I just didn't understand why they were so laissez-faire about it. So I was just trying to wrap my head around that, because I would have been ecstatic.
Imagine seeing a dragon head getting paraded through town.
Imagine the broth you can make with that thing.
I was just gonna ask, okay, do you guys eat dragon meat? Would you?
Yeah, if I'm a small
Hell
folk,
yeah.
yeah, I figure like, yo, I'm gonna get souped up. It's gonna be like the V of Game of Thrones world.
Yeah, what's the soup de jour?
Right? The soup of the day. I mean, plus there's no meat to go around, so there's like several 100 pounds of meat. Let's go.
Have at it.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I mean, when this first happened, I was a little surprised, but then I was like, oh, that does make sense. That, it's like you said, they're parading a god to these people around, and to see one dead is deeply unsettling, I would think. And I think it shakes their foundation of what the Targaryens are, because they were also like gods, or more like gods than men to the small folk. So the fact that one of their, weapons or whatever could be killed, maybe they're not as godlike either. I don't know. So
Yeah,
very
sometimes
interesting.
when that curtain gets pulled back, you don't like what you see behind it, and that it kind of, like you said, it shakes the foundation of what they actually believe.
Yeah, most people do not want to see how the sausage is made.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. But we'll get back to the small folks a little later. Aegon is just first of all, okay, so Aegon, they bring Aegon back. He looks like garbage. He's all fucked up, pus everywhere, disgusting. My first question is, how the hell did he make it on a several day trip from the battlefield to King's Landing? But more importantly, opinion, do you think that Aegon is going to make it? And thirdly, does Alicent know what Aemon did? So, Robbie, thoughts on any of those?
I do think he's going to make it. I think he's going to turn crazy due
Okay.
to the meds, little milk of the poppy, Odeon. I think he's going to lose his skull. Not literally, but I think he's going to go a little insane in the membrane.
Love
So
it.
yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. I think he's damaged and beat up so badly that the only way that they can save him is just drugging him up. And I think with all the drugs he's going to be taking, I think something's gonna flip the switch to him. I think he's going to turn into some kind of monster. So I'm excited to see that, to see where that goes. I definitely think he's going to make it. And I definitely do believe that Alicent knows what Aemon did. I think she understands the kind of person that he is, ruthless, hell-bent on power, heavy on the power tripping. So yeah, I do believe that she surmises that Aemon definitely did something to Aegon, and I think she's smart enough to understand that. She might not 100% know, but like I said, she surmises that something did happen in battle that led to Aegon being burned to a crisp and having his armor basically melted into him like RoboCop.
Oof. Yeah, I agree. She definitely knows something's up, and just the way that Eamon was acting, like so quick to say, "Well, we need someone to lead now." Um, she knows that he had something to do with it, or maybe he was careless when he didn't have to. You know what I mean? Like he had a chance at some point to save him, and he saw that this benefited him. So I think she knows he did something to contribute to Aegon being in the state, and 100% he's coming back from this. You get it with that one line that he has. He's starting to come out of it a little bit, and I think Robbie's right. He's going to be you're not going to want to get on his bad side after this.
Fair. Yeah, honestly, I didn't even think of that. Like you're both probably right. He's gonna be like all messed up on Milk of the Poppy, and just he's gonna exist, but they're just Aemon especially is just gonna be like, all right, shut the fuck up. I got this. Like, go have some more opium.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like my friend Razor Ramon said, tough times don't last, but bad guys do.
Best. So yeah, no, and also I agree. I mean, moms always know when you're up to something. They don't 100% know exactly what you did, but they know you did something.
Yeah.
She sees, the dagger in his belt. I mean, she saw Viserys carry that for 20 years or whatever, and definitely saw Aemon's with it. So she knows something's up. Um, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with all that. I mean, once Aemon has power, I don't know if he's gonna give it back.
No.
Probably not. All right. Question number 3 for this episode, and we kind of already discussed it a bit, but just to put a little bit of a button on it, where do you think all these trips that Daemon's taking are going, or trips or dreams or visions or whatever? Like, do you have any kind of ideas of like the end game here, or like where this is leading to? Or is this just one of those, and they do it in other, stories and movies and stuff like that, where it's like you just go along this journey with this character and then they're changed in some way and then that affects their decisions or whatever. So, Benny, what do you think? Like, is this gonna go somewhere, or is it more just like we're just peering into his psyche?
I think it's a little bit of just kind of peering into his psyche, but I'm actually kind of curious and confused about where it's going, because it has me on the edge of my seat a little bit, where it seems like in a way he understands how poorly he's treated people, but at the same time, when he's got all of his faculties, he is very clearly like, no, you should call me the king. Like,
Right.
no, not King Kong. Like, and you could see him kind of stealthily making moves to find a way to take power from Rhaenyra. But I don't know, maybe that's the conflict that he's having with all these dreams is, his subconscious is trying to tell him, like, you need to stop acting this way, because everything that you're doing is not working out 100%. You're getting about 50% of the results that you could have if you just partner with these people and actually help them out, instead of, I forget who says it, but the only person who has Daemon's heart is Daemon. Uh, and I don't know. I'm interested to see where it goes, because it's going to go one of two ways, where he's all in with Rhaenyra, or he tries some sneaky stuff, and maybe that's where, that's where we get the prophecy of this place, you're going to die here. And it's him, the whatever lesson he gets from all this is the thing that ends up killing him, where he goes in trying to take power from Rhaenyra, and that's what ends up costing him his life.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm also very confused about what this is and where this is going. And maybe that's a reason why I don't like it, is like, I get that Damon's a piece of shit. Like, I get that like, we've known this since last season. I don't need to see him have visions of like chopping heads off and like banging his mom and like all this other stuff. Like, I'm intrigued but also annoyed, because I'm just like, it so far there's been no payoff. Now, if there is a payoff and I'm like, okay, that's all, this made sense, then I will absolutely eat crow and say like, all right, this was worth it. But it's what, since episode 2 he's been in Harrenhal, or 3?
Yeah.
It's been a fucking while. And also, and this might be stupid, but it's something that I hate that shows and movies do, is they're just like, well, Damon's in Harrenhal. Has he broke back with the Raven? No. And that's the end of it. Like, she finally at this
Does
episode
someone want to go
sends,
check on him?
you have dragons, you can fly there in like 4 minutes. Like, what are we doing? I don't, that's one thing that pisses me off. Like, even, okay, Daemon, you're having these wild visions. You have a dragon. Why don't you commute to work instead of just sleeping in this haunted castle? Like, that kind of stuff annoys me, where it's just like, there's a, maybe not a solution, but there's an obvious path towards trying to figure out what's going on right there, and you're just not taking it because that would be damaging to the plot. So that
Yeah.
shit annoys me. But
I
Robbie,
think too, like,
oh, go ahead.
maybe there's, sorry, Rob, like, maybe there's an allure to Harrenhal that, like, keeps people
Maybe.
wanting to find out more, or or keeps it, like, everybody, we saw everybody in Game of Thrones who wanted Harrenhal was like obsessed with it, and then it was ended up being the reason that they died. So maybe there's something there that like pulls you to stay.
Possible. I don't know. I mean, granted, if I went to a haunted mansion, I would and had like crazy dreams, I would stay there. That sounds awesome. Robbie, any thoughts about, Dame? I feel like we're kind of on the same page with this. Like, something, like, please, something happen.
Yeah, it's like when you follow a character for 8 seasons and you want him to succeed, and you find out all this juicy information about him, then he goes back to Castle Black, no, to never be seen again. So, funny things like that. But yeah, no, I'm with you. I think you hit the nail on the head. It's just I'm intrigued, but I'm also annoyed, and I'm also like, let's get on with it. I don't need visions of sugar plums dancing in Damon's head to know that he's a fucking lunatic psychopath, only wants power, has, mommy issues, has brother issues, and this is what shaped him to be the man that he is today. I get it. He wants the power. He doesn't care about anything but himself. And we've seen that over, 1.5 seasons already. Let's just, get the ball rolling a little bit and see where this ends up. Because if it doesn't go anywhere, I might bash my skull right into the concrete.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's heading towards Aemon has no choice but to go back to Rhaenyra with his tail between his legs because he failed. Like, he's not going to have an army. They wake him up at 4 a.m. to be like, what the fuck's wrong with you? And he's just like he's not going to, there's no diplomacy. He's going to go try and burn people with his dragon to try to make them come to his side. And he clearly finally says it in this episode where he's just like, you would bow to me. Like, I'm the king, not the king consort. Like, so we're getting that, but like we said, I kind of feel like we already knew all that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. There was a couple Daemon things. Anything else with Daemon before we move on? Because that's my only Daemon question this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think we got a little bit of maybe kind of where Damon's story is going when he gets woken up and the people are like, dude, no, you fucked up. Like, this is terrible. Why did you do that? When he kind of trusts that guy.
Quit hiring idiots to do your dirty work.
Yeah. And tells him, yeah, you know what to do. You'll take care of it. And he ends up ruining it. And again, this is Daemon going to try to solidify their place as the ones that should rule, and he ends up, like I said, just getting 50% of the results instead of like actually coming up with a plan that you should follow through on. Instead of, in the beginning of the season, he tells Blood and Cheese, hey, if you can't find him, most likely just kill, son for son, kill a son.
Yeah.
And the same thing, like, you're trusting this person and you're seeing the trickle down effect of what he did. So I think we're going to get a little bit more from Daemon as well.
Yeah. And you're being vague. What do you expect people to do if they don't have specific instructions?
Especially when you know how much those two families hate each other. Like, they're going to do whatever it takes to kind of get back at them.
Yeah. Whatever. All right. Question number 4. Were you guys shocked that everyone on the small council turned their back on Alicent? I'll start.
No.
I never start. I wasn't shocked.
No,
Bobby,
I wasn't shocked either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're on the same page. You expound. I'll talk more later.
No, I just think that they weren't shocked. I feel like Allison's finally starting to realize kind of what Rhaenyra is going through as well. The same thing. I don't feel like they want to listen to a woman in charge and in power. I think that they don't believe in Allison. I don't think nobody's going to listen to her. I don't think why would they want to listen to somebody who maybe has no military strategy, who doesn't know how to rule? I mean, yeah, she was potentially ruling when Viserys was kicking the bucket, but I mean, I think nobody's going to want to listen to her. I feel everybody feels like they want a man in charge. I mean, please, it's still to this day, people are scared of women in power. So I feel like they don't believe in her and they don't want her there and they don't think she can get the job done. So no, I wasn't surprised at all.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and I don't necessarily think it's that they don't trust or believe in Alicent, because they all pretty much acknowledge, like, yeah, no, you did the job well during peacetime. But it's because she's a woman, and it's the same thing Rhaenyra is dealing with in Dragonstone, where, like, even though we know Aegon is a fuck up, like, yeah, we still feel a little bit more comfortable with him, and we know that Aemon is a wild card, the biggest wild card. He's a draw 4, draw 8 for, from Aemon, but they're still willing to take their chance with that than, give the power to a woman.
Right. And I think they also, like, they see the writing on the wall and they're just like, all right, I know where my bread is buttered. Like, once one domino falls, like, and Aemon was probably going to take it anyway. Regardless if one, a couple people or whatever said Alicent, like, and who's going to stand up to Aemon? Like, I mean, strength-wise, maybe Cole, but Aemon still has the dragon too. So like he's got all the cards. He's got good. Basically, this was gonna happen regardless.
Yeah.
And I loved the scene of him striding around the table and picking up the little ball to clock in. Love that.
Got to clock in or else you're not going to get paid.
Yeah. And then that scene too, of once that happens and it's just all the sound kind of gets real muted and it's like you can hear Alicent breathing and them talking. Like I thought that was pretty cool, actually.
I love
Like
that
it
kind of
was,
stuff.
yeah. Yeah, I like when they did that.
And the stuff is going on, and you even get in other shows and movies, you get that high pitched squeal going
Yeah.
on, but you could still hear the people talking, but it's just muffled.
Yeah.
Always a solid device to use in a movie.
Yeah. It's how you know you're in someone's brain is
Yeah.
when you hear the high pitched squealing. Well, speaking of that scene specifically, Aemond says lock the gates, close them all in, keep everybody out, but keep everyone in. And this, I think, goes back to as well, parading the dragon head around, all the scenes that we're seeing with the small folk, with Hugh, who's the blacksmith, with all the people, talking, as well as Mysaria, I think, the White Worm, her Rhaenyra's new master of whispers, basically, is like it's the small folk in general. They're setting up different areas where the small folk are going to get all pissed off and they're going to revolt in some way. So, do you think that locking them in is going to backfire? And kind of in a larger sense, do you see something happening with the small folk in King's Landing doing something?
Go ahead, Ryan. But start us off proper this time.
Well, I wouldn't say proper, but I'll start us off. And the answer to my own question is yes. I mean, I think that's what they're leading us towards. Hugh can't get out. I think maybe he might be a secret Targaryen. I'm not sure. There's definitely, we'll talk about it later. Like they're highlighting him so much. I just feel like something's up with him beyond just I have a sick daughter and I want money from the king. But just generally, I feel like there's going to be kind of an uprising at some point before this season ends. And I'm curious if then Aemon's going to turn Vhagar on his own people. That would be pretty messed up. But I don't know. I don't know if they go that far, but something's definitely happening with the small folk.
What do you think, Rob?
I agree. I think something's definitely gonna happen. Something's brewing. I mean, you can't lock these people in there like that. You're not provide. Food supply is disgusting. People are children are sick and they don't have any good medical care. Sounds familiar. It's yeah, it's I definitely think something bad is gonna come out of it where a revolt might happen. I'm not sure when, but you can't tie these people down for this long, not let them out and basically starving them with disgusting food and giving no medical attention to people. I mean, there's got to be an uprising coming, and I like Ryan's idea. No, I don't like it, but I understand
Sick
what he's
person,
saying.
you.
I love it. I want people to burn them down. Some would say the best burner in Westeros. But yeah, I think that's a good idea. I wasn't even thinking like that. I think that might potentially lead to something where Aemon goes crazy and starts burning people to the ground.
Yeah, no, I think you guys nailed it. I just never understand the keep him in. Like what's the big deal about letting them leave or go out or try to find their own food? So that's the only question that I have out of that whole situation is, and this is not, the only time it's been done in Game of Thrones where it's like, don't let the small folk out. Like, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
They're poor. What, do you eat grass? Like, what's going on with that?
Gonna go tell other small folk things.
Yeah.
Who cares? So, yeah. So, all right, we're all in agreement of that. The second to last one, number 6. So one of the things that Jace does is he goes to treat with the phrase, our favorites, the trustworthy phrase, which, to go back to my other point, send him the fucking Harrenhal and talk to Daemon if you're not going to go yourself or near him. Anyway, so he's treating with the phrase that my question is the middle of a bridge the coolest place to have a meal?
I was gonna say I forgot to mention that earlier, but just that is some book fan service right there. Like, with all the descriptions that George is so known for and the creative castles and all the history behind all of them. That was awesome. The twin castles that go across the river, and for that to be the place where they entertain Jace is just so cool. I'll push back on the send Jace out because I don't think Rainier wants to do that at all. Like, this was
No,
his
I know.
idea to go out, but yeah, no, I would think that would be part of Jace's, like, I'm gonna do something that helps everybody, is like, let me see what the hell's up at Harrenhal. Like, so I'm with you there. But yeah, just what an awesome place to have a meeting and to like really highlight, because that was the one thing that I think not the one thing, but that was the thing that the books did better than the show, was why the Freys are so important and why that castle is so important, is because they control the
The
basically the
crossing.
crossing between the north and the south, and like that's their castle. And that was such a cool thing to see, and just like a badass set piece to have.
Yeah. Robbie, thoughts? Would you like to have a 3-star Michelin meal on a bridge?
Oh, forget about it. Nice little omakase, freaking just, fish galore. I would love it. But I don't know I don't know all that backstory like Benny eloquently put. So I just thought it was like a cool little set piece, nice little bridge, leaves falling. I mean, probably a nice little fall day. Please. I mean,
Oh,
the sugar plums were in my pants. Forget about it. Clean up on aisle 3. But yeah, I thought it was cool. My man Jace. I mean, hair fantastic, skin glowing. I mean, forget about it. I'm really intrigued by his character, and I think the actor's doing great work.
Yeah, he's been a breakout this season so far.
agree. Besides just being like, cool to look at and maybe some book fan service, I wonder if they also did that. I mean, tactically, maybe he did that because I want my dragon right in their face because I'm here alone. The other possible thing from a storytelling perspective is we have this idea of the phrase as being backstabbers, obviously. If they show them meeting in that hall where the red wedding occurred, I mean, then you're really thinking one way about the phrase, and maybe they're trying to say like the phrase aren't like that, but I don't know. They're the phrase. Listen, the guy looked like a used car salesman. They're
Yeah, he
definitely
looks like he
scumbags.
definitely. But they and that's the thing too with the phrases. They've always, and that was a little nice thing that they sprinkled into, is they've always felt like the Tullys were, so everybody views them as so much better than the phrase, but the phrase, and the Tullys are the ones who are the rulers of the Riverlands, but yet the phrase have this, the most important part of the Riverlands is the crossing, and that's why they've always kind of felt lesser than, and that's why the phrase were very quick to be able, stab Catelyn Stark, Catelyn Tully, and rub it in their face. And it's just this thing that's been going on forever with the family. So we got a little bit of that from this episode, where he kind of defers to the Tullys because they're the ones that would be the ones that would make the decision. But they kind of saw their opportunity where the Tullys don't have necessarily a leader at this point to make themselves important in the situation.
Right. We'll see. I'm curious. I'm very curious if the phrase keep their word or don't. I mean, but the problem is Jace told them, yes, my uncle will protect you, and yes, you can have Harrenhal, and probably neither one of those things can happen.
Yeah.
So maybe the Targaryens are the backstabbers in this case.
Yeah. And again, I mean, we saw what happens when you don't keep a promise with the phrase.
Bad things. All right, last question for this episode. And I think we've already mentioned it's possibly the most intriguing part of this episode is the search. Are you the next dragon rider? Scouring Westeros for all the bastards to possibly ride a dragon. What do you guys think of this? Like, do you think, like, I mean, seems cool. Vermithor and Silverwing on the Dragonstone, like they could absolutely do some damage if they can get someone to ride them. So I don't know. What do you guys think about Dragonseed?
I mean, yeah, this was the part of the episode that, I love that they ended on this because it put that thought in your head. And the other thing we got too is Sea Smoke's been around.
Yeah.
And I forget his name, but Rhaenyra's first husband, the guy, Corlys's son, who kind of dipped. And
I think he's coming back.
I think so, because like, why is Sea Smoke around? And it's been said so many times that the bond between the dragon and the rider is so deep that it won't accept another rider unless it knows that their rider is dead, and he's not. But we're still seeing Sea Smoke, so there's a lot there with these dragons and the dragon seeds that are all littered throughout the Seven Kingdoms. And they dropped a couple important names in there. They the Tarleys, Sam's family. So it'll be cool to kind of, and that's that's been the cool thing with this show is, like I said, a lot of the callbacks and a lot of the lore of all the families that we saw in Game of Thrones, like we're getting a lot of their ancestors. So I'm excited to see what becomes of this. We're definitely going to see a couple of people get burned to a crisp because the dragon doesn't like them. So I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely. Robbie?
That'd be a nice little like reality TV show. Who's the next dragon rider?
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I'm excited, I guess. What what can I say? I'm just who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares sometimes? I mean, one foot out the door, one foot in the door. I mean, Benny put it better than I could put it. I mean, I don't have that much to say about it, but I am intrigued. I do. I think that would be cool to find some potential dragons just in hibernation and who's going to ride them, and how that's going to set the stage for the rest of the show. I just want to get there. Okay. I feel like I'm on a 17-hour flight to the Asians, to the Asian Pacifics, to the Philippines, and I just want to get there and hang out, have some mango shakes, and just enjoy a nice wedding. Everything else, leave me alone.
Don't wake me up for the meals.
No, please leave me alone.
Yeah, agree. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it's cool, whatever they do. Anything else that you guys want to bring up about this episode that we didn't really touch on?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel, at least in my mind, vindicated of how much I like this episode because, like I said, there was the Corliss stuff that I liked, and I forgot to mention there was the twins that I loved. That when you brought that up, I was like, wow, how could I have forgotten that? I thought of the chess piece moving episodes, it was just behind the battle of the brothers there, and there's a lot there for you to sit and kind of think about it, and you do have the backstory of a lot of the lore and stuff like that. But like I mentioned a few times, I do get why it could feel like a slog, like if you don't have that information. And again, that's not on the viewer, that's on the people who make the show to put that stuff out there to make it as interesting it is to the casual viewer.
Yeah, I mean, when I read recaps, when I go on Reddit and everybody's loving the season, this and that, like those guys are, those people are reading, most of those people that are commenting are definitely have read the books and know the backstory, know the lore. I don't know any of that, and I don't want to know any of that, right? I don't feel like I want to read any books and things like that. Again, like Maybe I should, but again, I'm
But
just, I just,
it shouldn't require you to read for more than for 2 hours to enjoy a 1 hour episode or 3 hours to enjoy a 1 hour episode. Like the amount of time you'd have to put in with these books and the lore and all that stuff is so far outweighs the amount of time you're getting from the show that it doesn't make sense.
yeah, like I hear you go, with the tear in your eye, you got the, you love all this lore and this backstory because obviously you read it, and I get that. Like if that was me, I would feel the same exact way. But again, I'm coming from, a place where I'm not reading this stuff, so I don't really understand it. I don't really understand the lore, the backstory, or why it's important. So it's a little tough for me. And when I say that, the pacing's slower, I want things to happen. Other people, love this type of stuff. I do love some politics. I do love some chess moving, but if I don't understand not the reasoning for it, but like the backstory for it and why this is important or why this house is important or why these people are important, I'm going to be, I guess, lost, or I'm going to be a little remiss to get so intrigued about it.
And I think too, like it's not we all know what a YouTube wormhole is, a Wikipedia wormhole is. Like Ryan and I have back knowledge of like, so if I say, "Oh, Ryan, did you know this about Harrenhal? It was built on they chopped down weirwoods." Like Ryan knows the weirwood stuff, whereas if I said that to you, Robbie, well, then we'd have to explain weirwoods, and then the old, like so. For us, the little bit of effort that we have to put in, we have all this extensive knowledge of, before where just trying to learn about one thing in this series can would send you down so many different wormholes to try to like understand. And then you're at a point where you're like, wait, what am I even reading about this point? Like, why am I reading about
Yeah.
Dorne before the conquest? Like to understand like this 2-second thing that popped up on the screen. So that, like I said, I mean, I can watch a video and they reference things that I know, and that's why like, oh, it's hitting for me a little bit different. But like I said, I mean, it's hard. It's hard for someone that, as a book reader, as someone that's invested in the lore, I love it. But I also understand the other end of it, where, I have all this, how many hours have I wasted on this stuff in my life to now be able to enjoy this like 2-second throwaway clip or whatever. So I definitely get both ends of it.
Imagine how if instead of reading all the books and going down all these wormholes, we spent that time doing stand-up 69.
Really, who's having the better life, us or Robbie?
Yeah,
That's
I don't
true.
know.
See, now you understand why I read the books. I was
There you go.
crunching
Too
and
busy.
munching.
We were
Yeah,
reading page 69. You were doing stand-up 69.
that's right. Oh my God. So Iron Throne this week. Anyone want to go first? Robbie, why don't you go first since you hated the episode the most?
Yeah, that's true. Oh man, I don't. Um, I guess my Iron Throne had to be Aemon. Uh, got what he wanted. He's in power. He's ruling like a lunatic. He's locking people in. I don't agree, but I think he's got what he wanted. I think I don't want to say intelligent with his military strategy, but I think that he's just a psychopath, and I'm gonna have him sit the Iron Throne because I cannot wait to see what he does next and the consequences it has. And yeah, I mean, look what he did. Like again, he's burning his brother. He don't care. He wants power, and it's all about power for him. He wants to be on top, and the reason why he sits the Iron Throne for me is because he is acting king, and I am intrigued, like I said, to see where it goes. And everybody else kind of bored me this episode, so he's the only one that kind of tickled my fancy. Definitely wasn't gonna give it to Daemon. I'll tell you that right now. Sick of that motherfucking bastard.
Will we see? Will Daemon sit our Iron Throne before he dies?
Yes.
He will. Okay.
One
I
of
like
them.
He
that.
better do. He's got to do something. He's got to bring it back because I'm really tired of the actor. I'm tired of looking at his face. His face annoys me. Um, he's controversial take. I hate him more than I hate Crispy Cole.
Wow.
Crispy
It's a
Cole's
different
coming
tune
back.
than you were singing in season 1.
I can't believe it. I'm trying to think back as to like Game of Thrones, who I like so much, who I turned on, but I can't even think of that. There was just people
All right.
just to hate off the bat who were just evil as all hell.
A
I
lot
don't
of
know.
people turned on Tyrion in Game of Thrones, the character from the show. Now, I don't know about the book, the books, but a lot of people did not like how Tyrion's story kind of ended up. Were you one of them?
I
Because
don't know.
that
I
could be
kind
a
of like.
person I could see, so you turning on.
I don't think I ever turned on Tyrion. I think I enjoyed his arc. I don't know. I have to. Let me do my research. I'll get back to you next week.
All right. I think that Daemon will not sit on the Iron Throne before he goes away.
They're really
Or-
making are they making the blacks so boring and lame that we all become team green because they're at least interesting even though they all suck?
So I will say, this is the first time I'm wearing something green for one of these episodes. I've worn black every single episode, but I just want it on the record that I am not switching allegiances. I am still Team Black. This is just a coincidence. But maybe my subconscious, like Daemon.
I'm gonna say this right now. I'm currently an independent. I don't know who I
Wow,
support.
that's a big L for Team Black. That's a big L.
They stink. They're not doing anything.
Wow,
Oh,
Losing
also, sorry.
Rhaenys was a huge loss.
that's a big L. And Maylis.
I am also
And
moderate. I'm not. We're right now. We're telling along Bobby Kennedy Jr.
Your team's strong.
Team strong. Team anti-vax.
Ryan,
I
who's
mean,
on your Iron Throne? Go ahead, Ryan.
at least Daemon is intriguing. I want to see what he's gonna do next.
Plus, that
Allison, I want to
eye
see
is
what
cool as
she's
fuck.
what?
The glass eye is cool as
Oh,
hell.
amazing.
Decent
Cole,
dick.
I hate his guts, but I want to see what he's gonna do with all his PTSD and everything. Their small council is more interesting. Otto might come back. Aemon, Aegon might come back alive. I don't know. Everyone is, I feel like at least someone intriguing on Team Green, whereas Team Black, I'm just kind of like, Rhaenyra, I want her to win, I guess, but everyone else, I'm kind of like, nah, I don't know.
Their
Right
mace,
now,
their mace is fantastic.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
cool.
their Master Whisperers, forget about it. Forget about it. The best in the biz. I mean, please.
See, this is my Ned Stark. I'm stubborn, man. Like Rhaenyra was named the heir, so I am Team Rhaenyra till death do us part. This is why Ned lost his head, and I'm probably gonna go down with the ship with Team Black.
I
Hey,
love
sorry to see
her.
you go.
I love her. Yeah, see you later. I love her, but I love winning more.
All right, Ryan, who's on your throne?
Well, I'm hoping, and I would have picked Aemon if I went first, but I'm hoping the Iron Throne for me this week brings me back onto Team Black, and that is Corlys, because when
Nice, that was my pick.
I think they're very strongly suggesting he's going to be the hand when he comes in to that small council and whips their asses into shape and actually has some ideas on what can be done. I think I might be back on Team Black very easily. So, Corlys,
Classic flip flopper.
let's go. Classic.
I definitely jumped the gun last week by giving it to Rhaenyra. I feel like this would have been a better episode to give it to Rhaenyra because I think the wheels are now turning in her head, and she could figure. There's a plan. There is, she's got juice going into next week. But I will not go back to back Rhaenyra. I'm going to give it to Bela.
She was
because
great this week.
the reason we have Corlys back, and it seems like he's coming back for blood with a vengeance, is she reframed his whole outlook on what's going on, and I think he was very easily going to go into a spiral of I've lost everything important to me, none of this matters. and I'm pissed at Rhaenyra. And Baela went in there, laid down the law, was given a castle, and she said, "Nah, don't need it. Just want you to be hand, and you need to whip your ass into shape." So I'll give it to Baela for the work that she did over on Driftmark.
Smart. Yeah, she was great. I love that her and Jace are actually becoming characters that I'm maybe gonna be interested in.
Yeah.
So.
Power couple, the new power couple.
Yeah. The next generation.
Love it. Can't wait.
Can't wait. Who cares?
In 5 years.
And another prequel.
Season 12.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Which takes place 3 weeks after this episode took place.
Daemon's still having nightmares.
Daemon's on holiday.
Yeah. Disgusting. Anything else we need to say about the Regent?
Never again.
Robbie's done.
I almost canceled this week.
I understand. Please don't. We need you.
Hey, you need me for the LOL. You guys got the backstory. I'm just here for the stand-up 69 jokes.
Exactly.
Yeah, but we need that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
No one
Yeah,
wants
you
to
know,
hear just us, a couple of nerds. Well, I guess some people do, but most people don't
Not
want to
enough.
just hear two nerds.
Not enough people want to hear two nerds.
No.
Get me back to the movies. When are we doing polls?
Soon.
So, what? Only a couple weeks, right?
3
How many
weeks.
episodes?
3 more episodes of House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm texting right. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna lay it out on the line here. If this season doesn't pick up, I'm on a hiatus for season 3. You're not gonna see me for
boy.
8 weeks on this show.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
So you
That's
got
fair.
hey America, you got your wish.
You flunked it, America.
America, you got your wish.
Love it. All right. So like we said in the beginning, I don't know, get involved. Send us a message, an email, comment, whatever. We love you. Thanks for sticking around this long. Robbie, tell him good night.
Good night, Damon. The true MILF hunter.
Split my wood, Daemon.
They gotta stop. I can't watch another stupid vision like that again.
Disgusting. But
We'll see.
also intrigued.
I mean, that actress, not bad.
Smoking hot until I found she was his mommy. But again,
Just an
intrigued.
When I hear a sound, I rap at the door and my young son Gabriel walks in. My wife says, "No, Gabriel, leave." I said, "No, let the boy watch. Let the boy watch. He needs to learn the way I learned from my father, the way he learned."